Hi, everyone. So glad to see you today. Happy Tuesday. Of course, this is our last AI April because we are in May, but I appreciate everybody joining us. So let's get started. Let me share my screen real quick, and here we go. Share. Now, everybody should be able to see the screen. Are we good? Okay. All right. So today is our last AI April class, and I'm going to leave time for questions afterwards. Here we go. The AI that actually works. I'm super excited about this. What we're talking about is building your real estate workflow, because AI is not one tool, it's a system. So yay, and that today is not about learning a new tool. What we're doing is we're going to make everything that we've learned come together and actually work. Yes, today is going to be a sit back and watch it day, not a you have to be on your computer today. So most AI classes teach tools. We're teaching a system. Now, over the last few weeks, we've covered three things: why AI hasn't worked for you, how some agents are being found and some are not, and how to stop starting over. So if this sounds a little bit confusing, you can go back to YouTube for Raylene Lewis Realtor on YouTube, and all of the previous classes that go through these first three things are there for you, so you can watch if you need to. Today, what we're doing is we're connecting it all. And sometimes AI classes feel like this. Here's 47 things that you're never going to use again. But I'm not doing that to you. Most agents are still doing the same old thing. Ask a chat, in the question, get an answer, and start over. When they attend classes, they're excited, and then they go and attend the class and they're overwhelmed, and then they go back to old habits, which is like random chats, right? Okay, all right, my class, we are not going to do this, all right? This is not an AI problem. This is a workflow problem. So today is going to be all about workflows. We've covered why AI hasn't worked. We've covered how AI chooses agents. We've covered how to stop starting over. And each one of those solved a different problem. But today, we're going to solve the big one. Be honest. How many of you are still doing this? You're still going in, you learned your class, we did the lessons, but when you want something, you're just going back in, you're typing in a chat in the hallway, not in a program, and seeing what happens. Like yesterday, today, are we doing this still? Right? Okay. We've got to get into good habits, and that's why we're going to talk about AI being a system, because this is a workflow problem. So this is the one thing we're going to remember for today. AI is not a tool. So let's learn the system. When we're talking about our workflow, it's 4 steps. Really easy, guys. You can remember this. This is not super difficult. We're talking about a 4-step system for real estate success. We're going to capture, we're going to process, we're going to create, and then we're going to finalize our output. Capture, process, create, and finalize our output. This is how AI actually works when it works well. And if you skip one of these, it's going to get weird fast. Every high-performing AI workflow follows this pattern. You're going to capture something real, you're going to process it with structure, you're going to turn it into usable content, and you're going to put it out into the world. How many of you guys saw the convention lady? What's her name? Marky, right? This is basically what Marky was teaching. We're just going to go into more practical application depth with our AI use of it, right? Because what happens if we do this correctly? We have excellent content that helps us build our authority and show that we're experts in the market. Does it make sense? Okay, let's look at this in real life. We're going to capture real moments. We're going to process with structure, create usable content, and have consistent output. Now, what most agents do is they skip the capture part, right? They skip the structure part, and then they just expect magic. So you go from random thought to why is this garbage? Okay? And here's the thing. If you're not doing this as a system, then what you're putting online does become random and it's not really helping you. It's noise. And we've already learned from our classes what noise is, right? So even content, just like, you know, our bios and everything else can be noise. So if we're going to put in the work effort to, you know, actually post something online, we want to make sure that every post we have gives us a bang for our buck. So high performers capture real moments, process with structure, create usable content. And here's the thing, they're not working more. When I did my posts yesterday, it didn't take me 5 minutes. So I didn't have to work harder to produce my output. I just used what I already had. So before I show you this, before we go through and we build our walkthrough, our workflow, I have a question. How many of you talked to a client this week? Okay, right? How many of you went on a walkthrough? All right, how about showed house? Okay, how about went on an inspection or talked to an inspector today? Okay, every single one of those, this week. All right, it's early, guys, sorry. This week. Every single one of those things is content. And the key is you didn't capture it. So when you're posting content, how many people don't know what to say? Right? I don't have that problem because when I go on an inspection, when I show a house, when I call a client, when I do a walkthrough or a listing presentation, I'm capturing content. And so that's why I have lots to say, easy to post, plenty to choose from, okay? This is what we're solving for you guys today. Jack, this one's for you. The what do I post? We've got this, okay? Instead of showing 5 tools, I'm going to show you one workflow. And I want you to watch for the system that I use, not the tools. So first thing is capture. Now I'm going to show you 2 different tools that I use to capture. The first one is called Whisperflow, which I know you guys have heard before, okay? Here's the fun thing. If you want to try Whisperflow, you can. It's free for 2 weeks. You just download it. Who here has Apple phone? Okay, who here has Android? Yay, it works for both, okay? It takes 2 seconds. You literally go, I want to download it. And then how many people know on your phone how to use an emoji? Yes, right? We can press the button and then all the little emojis can come up. It's literally that easy with Whisperflow. Once it's downloaded onto your phone, you press a button and a new little screen comes up at the bottom, right exactly where the emoji screen pops up. Here's the key. When you're using Whisperflow, you can use it to talk to your AI to explain something that happened. And it's going to talk, when you communicate, it's way faster than when you type.
Correct, the talk to text difference.
Correct. We're going to talk about that. I'm not there yet. So when you're talking on to try to get the information like, oh my gosh, this is what happened today. I was driving down the road and I saw a turtle and I stopped for the turtle and then I got out of the road, right? Like that would take forever to type, okay? And so I can just talk normally and get all that content in that I want. Now, what Heather was saying was the other thing about whisper flow is that it's great to use with clients as well. So not only can you use it to talk about things, explain what happened, put the content in your large language model, because what it's doing is it's doing text to type. Okay, but you can also use it when you are talking to a client, like I can't remember what Heather did one once, and it was like somebody was sick, and it was like, I hope they get better. But because it was the thing on the AI, it said something wrong, and it was like, I hope they died or something. It was crazy.
So let me know how they're doing.
Oh yeah, let me know how they're doing.
It said, let me know how they're dying.
Yeah, let me know how they're dying. We're like, oh my God, no. And of course, I did one.
Thankfully, the person was humorous.
Yeah, and I did one sometime, and it was so funny because I said something and it was very normal, but yet it came out like very inappropriate because I
something about booty or
booty or something.
Like,
I was like, no.
We don't know them.
Or no, an agent. I said, hey there, and for some reason AI captured it as honey, so I said honey to this other agent, and I'm like, no, I don't mean that. So what whisper flow does exactly, I mean, like, I'm sure everybody's had an issue. What whisper flow does is it allows you to talk and have it actually be way more chance of being correct than using the little app on your phone. But what it also does is it automatically makes corrections. So for example, I just screenshotted this image. This girl's talking and she says, let's meet at 12 p.m. at Joe's Pizza. Wait, no, actually I can't do 12. So let's do 12:30. And instead of Joe's, let's go to Kelly's Diner. And then what is the output? Let's meet at 12 p.m. at Kelly's Diner. So much better than, having to delete or text to talk, because that's what this AI does. It automatically takes your conversation and translates it into actually what you're wanting to say. So that means when you're talking to your AI or when you're talking to your client, you're going to get higher quality data input, for your output later when we talk about capturing. Does that make sense? All right, so just a fun tool. Anybody have any questions about whisper flow?
Again, not necessary.
Not necessary, just helpful. Okay, so then I'm going to talk about the next one. I'm going to talk to you really quick about Plod.ai. And this is something that if you went to convention, you heard a lot about. So this right here, this is my Plod. Okay, it's a Plod Note Pro, and I highly recommend it. It comes out to be basically about $20 a month for the subscription, because if you use Plod, you're going to want unlimited AI conversion. And what it does is it records the conversations and events that you have. So for example, every single one of my Zoom presentations that I do with you, I have Plod downloaded on my computer. And so when I do these Zoom presentations, it automatically records them, gives me a transcript, gives me a summary, gives me a mind map, gives me all those cool things, and I can throw it into Avery, which is my large language model, and I can say, hey, what should I do better? What did I do well? Were there things that I missed that I want to be sure to talk about when I'm planning my next, lecture? And you do the exact same thing, think of it as like a secret hidden coach, in a way, if you want, whenever you're on listing presentations. So it can tell you, hey, this is where you left some authority on the table. This is where your word choice matters. This is where you nailed it. And it can help you do better. Also, the same thing, think about with client communication. So you can take the transcript, you can take the information, and you can throw it into your AI, and your AI can help you be better and do better. But we're talking right now about content. Okay, and so this is the other great thing from just everyday use that this system can use. Now, if you don't have a Plod or don't want to spend the money on Plod, guess what? You can ask your large language model and say, hey, I want a system that I don't have to have additional hardware for, right? What is a really good, easy transcripting system? Pretty sure Apple has one that's free, guys, right? I think there's Breezy, which is really, really, really cheap. So you don't have to immediately jump in and do something like Plod if you don't want to. You can start with the basics. There's tons of capture and convert technology out there. But here's an example from yesterday. So yesterday, I went on a listing prep walkthrough. Okay. And so I'm walking around the house and I'm talking about what I see in terms of work that needs to be done. I'm having the conversation with my client about what they do and do not need to do to get the home ready for sale. And we're going through what repairs and what people are going to think and pricing. Like, we're doing all of that, right? Who has done that in the last 30 days? Okay, right? All of us, we hope. You got this. So everybody can do it. Now, all I did was I turned it on, right? Then I turned it off. And when I got to my computer, it's all there. So this is an example of what I received from Plod. I'm not going to show you the whole thing, but I'm just going to give you an overview, just really quick to show you how it works. You know, I had my introduction and information. I had, oh, this is what we need to do with painting and drywall. Unfortunately, it's a cat house, so we had to talk about odor remediation and flooring and that sort of thing, and then general repairs. And then, of course, it gave me a list of action items that I need to do and ones that I can copy and paste and send a quick little message to the client and have them do, right? So now we're going to go in and talk about process. Process is step 2. So now that we have gathered this information, we're going to put it into a system, not a random chat, a system that understands what we're doing. What did we learn last week? Projects, right? What do we do with projects? Projects are systems that we create to save us time, right? And to give us the exact type of output that we want. So now that we have this content, we're going to take it and we're going to put it into the system to create the process. Okay, so now I'm going to show you a demo. So I want you to watch so you can see what's happening here. I'm taking a real client situation and I am turning it into, I'm going to say, I want a short text client response that's natural, right? Because you know what's good business practice after you walk through someone's home? You follow up with them in an email that evening or a text message and you say thank you. And then you go over what you discussed, which is also great for E&O guys, right? And giving them their action items. I don't want to have to spend 30 minutes, 20 minutes, you know, writing all this out. That takes time. I don't have time, guys. So I'm going to take the information that I captured, my capture, and I'm going to throw it into my system, which is that project that I created, which literally just took me, you know, not very long, right? We went in, we said, here's my project, here's what I want the project to do. Bam, now I have a project, right? Okay, so, and then I'm gonna tell it, look, I want you to create a client response for me. I want you to create a blog. I want you to create a LinkedIn post that teaches a lesson behind the situation. And I want you to keep the tone clear, professional, and grounded in real experience. Watch, guys, how absolutely simple this is. I've got my attachments. I literally went on the listing appointment, came back. It's all right there in my email, my transcripts, my summary meetings. Boom. What am I going to do? I'm going to go to my content purposing and creation. I'm going to say, oh, look, there's my documents. There's where I told it create a clear situation, this real life situation, which I already showed you what it was. It was just a walkthrough. And now I have it. all there in like, what, less than a minute? Hey guys, here's an example. Here's what we're talking about. Here's the blog. The blog is the real mistake sellers make when prepping a home for the market. Most sellers assume prepping a home for a sales meeting is this. It's really not. Here's what actually happens. Here's what you can expect during a walkthrough. Some items that buyers want to do carry weight, others don't. Here's why. Here's hidden issues. Here's some things that sometimes it's better to disclose. And then there's a LinkedIn post. There's my LinkedIn post. I recently walked into a property in the Bryan College Station market. The goal isn't to make a home perfect. It's to make the right decisions before a buyer ever walks in. If you want, I can walk you through how I evaluate this property before you spend $1. This is an example of I didn't have to think about it. I didn't know what it was going to say. Knew it was going to be good. And it took my real life experience, because I captured it, and it turned it into content that I will absolutely, one, send a message to my clients as a follow-up saying, thank you, I enjoyed it, here's my action items. That took me less than 2 minutes, right, to actually type in their name, copy, paste, send, right? Now I have my content to post for the day that is a real life expectation, the real life experience. So that is what AI likes. They like real life experiences to set me as an authority in my market. And how long does it take to copy and paste a LinkedIn post, right? Or how long does it take to copy and paste a blog? Now, something that people want is they say, okay, now we've got this. Man, Raylene, this is okay, but it's not the best. So
something else to think about. I know that, this isn't an app class, but for E&O insurance, I am going to 100% tell you that you should be capturing conversations at minimum. There have been issues that we've had with files that without that recording, it would have been a bigger
problem,
poop show. So even though even for newer agents and for Graham and the other people watching, it seems like a lot. Research what works for you, but 100% I would highly recommend it, especially in this day and age where people are looking for things to be so happy with real estate.
Yeah, it's all conversations, in my opinion, should be recorded. And that's the reason why Plod is attached to your phone. As an example, Plod, records telephone conversations as well if you turn it on and record them. Yes.
For those of y'all in our office, my phone records conversations through the Ring Control app. So you should be, if you ever need to, you can use my phone or the Ring Control app on your phone. If you download it, you can turn on recording. It can call from the office. Our Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just saying if you don't want to.
Yes, Apple phones can record as well.
You can just use the office phone or download the Ring Central app for free. It doesn't cost you anything else.
So you've got lots of choices.
Yeah.
Lots of choices. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Lots of choices. Okay. So remember, we go in, we put in input, we get output. Then what do? What do we do, guys? Do I just immediately copy and paste it? Please.
We verify it.
Yes, we verify it. We clean it. We refine it. I think you've heard this step before, right? So it's not anything that we haven't done before. This is where most agents stop and then they go, it's not what I wanted. AI doesn't work. I don't like it. It's dumb. No, you just stopped too early. So the next step is to refine. We're not stopping here and we're not complaining about AI. We're taking one more step because attention matters, but clarity is what wins. So I said, hey, can you make this post more specific, less generic, and based on a real world teaching moment, avoid fluff. Bam, there it is. I was in a walkthrough this week in Bryan, Texas. What I do, say where it is. It's got it all put together for me. And now I have a post that is more refined and better content. Now, what's something that sometimes people are like, oh, I don't want to post, and it's not about the content. It's because, anybody? They don't want to go through the hassle or don't know how to make the image that goes with the content, right? Marky suggested Notebook LM as an example that was something that you can do to put in and get your content. I'm going to show you real quick how easy it is to take it one step further. So I said, create a clean, professional LinkedIn style image that represents a real estate decision moment. Now, that's not hard, right? If you wanted to, I could put specific colors. I could say I want it to be Next Home branded and do all of this stuff. I could put that in my project so that whenever I asked for images, it already did that. But here I am, real time, create a clean, professional LinkedIn style image that represents a blog. I want something that shows me a real estate decision moment. There it is. It's creating the image. It's still creating the image. It doesn't take long. You can do it. And in this case, I asked GPT to do it. If I happen to like, for example, Gemini, I could ask GPT instead of to create the image, I could say, create a prompt for me to paste in Gemini for the image. We're just looking and talking and showing different workflow items. What do we have? Oh, look at that. That is a very professional image, which is exactly the type that people look at and look for on LinkedIn. So now I have tailored my media to the platform where I'm posting the material. And easy peasy, I can click on it and look what happens on GPT. It can say, oh yeah, look, do you want to have a link that goes to it? Do you want to post it directly on X? There it is. I can press a button and literally post it directly on LinkedIn. If your LinkedIn is connected, true. If your LinkedIn is connected to your GPT. And of course, they also have Reddit, because why? People are starting to go and post on Reddit. Or in my case, I want to take the image and then I want to post it in several different ways. So I'm just going to click the far right, which is download. Okay, now I have a real client response, a real teaching post, and a visual to support it from one conversation, not from more work, right? Looks pretty good to me. What buyers notice, what inspectors will flag, disclose, don't over repair, smart prep checklist. Yeah, is that client value? Does that show I'm a professional and know what I'm doing? And I just, it was all done in what, less than 10 minutes for everything, right? This is what most agents are missing. They're sitting on the content every single day and doing nothing with it. Every single one of you. Every single one of you has had something happen this week that you could have used. The key was you didn't have the system in place, so you didn't capture it. Now we have a real client response, a real teaching structured post, and we have a visual to put it all together. And then just for fun, I told Gemini to make my post into a video, because you can do that too. It took me less than 1 minute. I said, take this image and make it into a video. And then it did. So I can post stills or I can post videos. You can make up to 3 videos a day on Gemini, and it's free. Okay, if you use workflow. Do we have any questions about that? Yes.
Creating that image, go through some time setting up, telling it what you want in every image, because I have like.
No, that was okay. So yes and no. So for which image? For this one? Yeah. So for this one right here.
The question.
Okay. So the question was, did I go through anything on the back end to help me create this image and get this result? And the answer is, I said in my custom instructions when I created the project, I said how I wanted and what content I wanted to be sure to be in imaging, right? So in this case, I said I want it to have my name, and I wanted to focus that I am an agent for Bryan College Station in the Brazos Valley. Like, that's literally the 2 sentences I put. If I wanted to have my phone number and stuff on there every time, I could. I didn't, right? I kept it really simple, which is why if you look at this image, it just says Raylene Lewis Real Estate, local expertise, clear strategy, better results, Bryan College Station, Brazos Valley, because those are my target groups.
That was one of the projects that she talked about last week, her imaging project. That's where you want, if you have certain ways you want that image to be outputted, that's where we're going to recommend that you create that. Or if you're creating a blog creation or a post creation, that's going to be inside your project if there are things that you want to see on every post.
Yeah, but it's easy to do. You just have to do it one time. So you don't have to go to different projects. If you notice, I put this was all in one project. Yes.
Yesterday, that 4th of July post that I put together, I did it sitting right there.
Yeah.
I just asked it to create a 4th of July themed post. And then
May the 4th be with you.
It had a whole bunch of clutter on it. And I just simply said, it looks too cluttered. Can you take away everything but my name and the next little BCS logo? And it put those 2 things in there, and that's it.
It did it. Super easy.
You just have to make sure that your project intentions are clear. We talked about how to do that last week. And that your sources are included, which is your logos, your colors, mandatory data, which could be literally a PDF that's like, here's my name, my phone number, my email. If those are all items you want on each image.
And here are the rules that are required. I have to say that I'm a real estate agent, stuff like that, so that you don't even have to think about it. It's just there. You just hit enter and you're done. Okay. Does that make sense? For this one, for example, my slides, I make my slides with Gemini. So Gemini, I do not have a project, right? For Gemini images, I literally just go to Gemini and I say, this is what I want you to make, and I give it like an example, so it gets kind of like the ideas. If I want it to do specific things, I go to chat and I tell my chat, okay, like I'm working on this lecture for people and I want to create a slide. I want to create a slide for step 4. Please give me a slide prompt so that I can nail it. And then I've trained Gemini actually, so I literally just can go next slide, number 4 output. But
so don't listen to Raylene. You should be doing the same thing in Gemini that you do in chat. Her and I both use AI platforms for specific tasks, chat being the one that overall is like most of everything. I use Gemini for photos, or did until Gemini decided to update. So we use each LLM for a specific task, which is why she was like, well, I don't really have a project, but you should, because you probably don't dive into each AI as much as Raylene does, training it for a specific task. So for you to be able to get output like what Raylene produced, you need to make sure that the program understands what you want.
Yeah, that's the key. I mean, that's what we've talked about before, right? Specific content gives you specific results. Okay, specific prompts, specific descriptions, telling it. As long as you tell it just like you would an assistant, you're going to get the results that you want.
Maybe, if your assistant isn't moody and PMS.
Okay, so like I said, now that we know our project, now that we know our flow, we can create our system the way that we want to for fast and easy work. Now I'm going to talk to you about something else. I'm going to talk to you really briefly about AI agents, okay? Just like Plod.ai, which records the conversation, turns it into notes, gives me a mind map, gives me a transcript, and then a template to showcase the material various ways. I didn't tell it to do all that, right? It does it automatically. It's because an AI agent has a specific task that you give it that it can do without you having to prompt it step by step. An AI agent is AI that acts, not just responds. So the way that you can think about an AI agent is that GPT, like ChatGPT, helps you think, and agents help you execute. ChatGPT is going to wait for you. Agents don't. An AI agent is an AI that performs a task without step-by-step prompting. So the simple version is you don't tell it what to do every time. You just give it a task and it handles it. It takes care of the task. So I'm just going to give you another example. This is just an example of an AI agent that I use every day. It's called Fixer.ai. Okay, because email is my nemesis. Okay, so I just gave Fixer my email and said, you know what, I can't even. I throw in the towel. I'm so busy. I can't miss important emails. I don't want to have to deal with spam or go through everything. Thinking about time and creating responses. I mean, this is a time suck. I don't know about you, but I was spending, hour plus doing email every day, right? And I've seen some of you that have like 42,000+ email in your email, right? So I know I'm not alone. We're no judging. But what is
I'm
it?
judging.
I'm what do we say? We say and we don't judge. We share and we don't judge. Okay. So this is Fixer. So Fixer has my email. Now, when I sit down at my computer to deal with the task of email, it already has divided up my email for me because it read them all. Yes. Okay. It tells me, oh, you've got 10 that you need to respond to. Oh, and Raylene, I already wrote the drafts of your responses. So all you have to do is read the response, make a little tweak here or there, and then hit enter. Okay. It says, oh, these that you received are FYIs. So read it so you know, read it and delete. And I'm like, cool. Then it's like, oh, you've got 36 notifications. All right. Well, notifications mean I probably better look at what's going on. And that way I know, okay, these are content things that are telling me what's happening. Because how many people are like, I didn't know about that. I didn't know. Did you get an email? Yeah, but what does that mean? Right? How many people read the email? Right? So it organizes it so my brain can go, okay, I'm going to look at all the notifications all at once. I'm going to respond to all the emails by saying yes or no to the responses that this already gave me because it wrote it, and then send them out. Oh, I've got 3 where I'm awaiting reply. How many people have sent a message before and then the other person, they probably had email problems and they never followed up? And so since they didn't follow up, you forgot what you had to do, right? Because it's kind of like, I did my part, send, out of sight, out of mind, right? So this one says, oh, if you want to check on other messages that we've sent out to other people, here's 3 of them that you're still waiting to hear back or still waiting to get a response on. So I don't lose what I need to be doing. I don't lose clients, that sort of thing. Probably all of them. And then this one is my favorite one. Marketing, 46. So I got 46 marketing messages. And so I can look at them all at once briefly and go delete. Oh, wait, I need that one. Delete. Now I've gone through all the messages, all my emails in 25 minutes maximum per day instead of hours per day. So when Fixer says, Raylene, you saved 9.9 hours this week, I'm like, yes, I did. 1,247 emails, 74, dyslexic, emails organized, and it wrote 56 drafts for me. So just an organization, 4.7 hours back and 5.1 hours of writing time. This is the power of an AI agent. Yes. Now, for all my friends that his email is out of control, I have provided you for if you have 46,793 emails, Fixer is not going to help you right away. Okay, we need to do little work, but you can have AI do the work for you so that you don't have to. We don't have to commit email bankruptcy. Okay, we can just start over. You can go into Perplexity and you can download Perplexity's browser, which is Comet, and you can ask Comet to do things for you. That is an AI agent. So for me, I've needed to do stuff on a computer before, and I've gone through Comet, and I'm like, I have no idea where this, I can't find the button. I don't know where this is. So I'm just like, hey, Comet, find the button for me and, put this in. And so Comet's like, oh, let me get on the website, Raylene, and I'll take care of that for you. And so you can be doing other stuff while I find the button that needs to be pressed, or I find the information that needs to be done. So another thing that Comet does is it was like, wow, Raylene, your Zoom meeting was really long, and I didn't enjoy it all that much, but I needed to get the information. Hey, Comet, can you watch this YouTube video and summarize it for me?
Give me the cliff notes.
Give me the cliff notes, right? Comet can say, yes, I can, Raylene. And then it can give me all of the notes, and then I can say, oh, wait, so it said that it can actually unsubscribe my emails for me so I don't continue to have 47,000 emails. Wait, show me that piece. And then I can hit enter, and Comet can go right to that part, and literally I can see how to do it. So I'm not having to waste my time going through and learning new content by watching somebody just yabber on the whole time. I can literally go to the exact point that I need, get the information that I need, and move on. So one last time, just showing you, in this case, what this guy's doing is he told Comet to go through his email and unsubscribe him from anything that looked like spam or that isn't important, and it did. And then you can say, if the emails are, ad related, please delete all of those emails. Then it will. Does that make sense? Do you guys understand the power of what an AI agent can do? Okay. So our final system for being successful and working with AI in real estate is we're training the model, we're training the computer how to do what we want, we're giving it direction, we're refining the results, and then we're systemizing it, like we talked about, putting it all together, which is, here's our input, we're going to refine it, here's our output and posts to make what we do a lot easier and save us a lot of time. This is everything that we've done over the last month. Class 1 was training, Class 2 was direction, Class 3 was about refining and creating our system, and today was systemization, putting it all together. So this isn't new, guys. It's stuff that you've already been doing. So let's talk about our last assignment, which I am going to, me again, stop sharing. What I've given you guys as a handout is an example that you can use to create, capture, process, create, and use your output. So you've got it right here so you know how to do it. And then I gave you an example. I know last week when we were talking about projects, remember I showed my, this is the project that I use to communicate to people in different languages, right? I don't know if I showed you, but I have my little project where I can press the button, but instead of talking to my LLM is listening. And so then it tells me what the person around me said in their foreign language, right? So I know what's being said, right? All these things are easy and doable with the help of AI. And so I've given you an example on one of my favorite ones, which is the AI client response shortcut, which, like I said, in one of my projects, everything that when I'm communicating with my client, I put each person has their own thread, right? Each one of my clients has their own thread. And this way AI can help me respond to them in a way that I'm talking to them at their level, at their systems level, because we all think differently. And AI is awesome at creating patterns and helping me create and be a better buyer's agent, a better listing agent, a better communicator, learning word choice so that what I'm saying is clear and concise. So at the end of the day, I get my 5 stars because I did a good job and I delivered what my client wanted. Does that make sense? So this was an example of how to use the system. So for the next minute, the last thing that I want you to do is, I'm not giving you 5 things. I'm just giving you one accountability. Within the next 24 hours, I want you to capture something real, run it through your project, and turn it into something usable. That's it. And if you don't do it in the first 24 hours, you're probably not going to do it. So just do one. Just do one. You can download WhisperFlow for free. You can use, your Apple recording device or whatever you want to record your video. It doesn't have to be Plod. You don't have to use Plod.ai. There's Breezy. There's a whole bunch of choices. You can go online in 5 minutes, pick one, and say, I'm going to play with it. And then look at all the content that you are going to have that you didn't even know you had. Everything just from what you were doing regular in your life, be it a walkthrough, be it an inspection, be it talking to somebody on the phone, and let AI turn that into showing the world online what kind of expert you really are and how well you know your business. And it takes no time. Got it? Okay. Remember, if AI has to guess what you're doing, then you've already lost. But if it understands the system, it's going to help you win. And that's what the 2 handouts are that I have today. They're to help you win. All right. Now we have, I wanted to leave about 10 minutes for questions on AI April. So I have now, I can see for all of my Zoom people, I see there's a message in the chat. I'm going to look at that. Oh, it just says this is great. Thanks, Justin. So does anybody have any questions? I left 10 minutes so that we can talk about anything you want to talk about, guys.
Hey, Raylene, this is Graham. I've got one. We're all sitting here watching you, so thank you. We had an office meeting, so you're the tail end of it. But
okay.
I wanted to, so for people that are total novice, your AI April has been like their first experience with everything. What would you say would be first, like step 1, just kind of getting stuff set up as far as projects?
Well, so if you go back to my first class, I really feel like the way that we presented everything built upon previous weeks. At least that was what I was trying to do. So you really just need to start by setting up your AI and understanding how to use it. And so that's what the first class was about. And then you can take the fact that, okay, I just set it up and now I can work on my bio. I can work on making myself more visible publicly. And run with it. When you're talking about creating a project, that's the 3rd class that we had. So yeah, you can play, Justin said, teaching the AI how to learn your tone and voice is a big first step. And it's just as simple as asking it to play 20 questions with you. And Graham, when we're talking about a project, we talked about, you click on the upper corner of your column and you say, hey, I want a new project. And then when you go in that project, you can say, hi, this is a new project and I need you to be my department head of the project. I need you to be the professional chat that helps me with this project. So I need you to tell me what are the custom instructions if these are my goals. And do I need any files to input into the project to make sure that I'm meeting these goals? And what I mean by files is, guys, whenever I am working with AI, I typically have what would be the equivalent of Microsoft Word or Pages open. And when it tells me, yeah, this is the information that we want, so that it knows these are the guardrails, so that it stays on task and only does what I'm telling it to do. I'm going to copy that information from my GPT. I'm going to put it into Microsoft Word or Pages. I'm going to tell it, make that a PDF, right? Save it as a PDF. And then I'm going to take that PDF and put it back inside as a source, so that the GPT can refer to, oh yeah, these are my rules. This is what I have to follow whenever Raylene asks me to do something. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. And I'll tell you the other thing I did just a few weeks ago after one of your classes that has really worked well with Gemini and ChatGPT, I think I did it in Claude as well, was if you go on the internet under the marketing tab, you'll see in there Next Home has a whole packet of all of their marketing guidelines, all their color codes, all the ways the logos can look, all that stuff. I just downloaded that completely into those systems, and it's been so much better about how it spit out graphics and colors for things.
Yes, 100%. Now, two things on that. Again, that's exactly what you're doing. That's what I did for my Illustrator as well, for my Illustrator program when I was working on that. So I've downloaded everything that says these are the guidelines. I put the guidelines in that specific program, so that whenever my content came out, it's not going to give me bad results. I'm going to stay compliant. But the other thing is, if I want Gemini to do the same thing, then I can ask Chat, hey, Chat, I want a prompt, because I want a prompt for Gemini to create, this image or that image, right? And because it has the guidelines, it's going to automatically put that in the prompt, so that when Gemini's results come out, the imaging and stuff stays consistent. This is how I can stay consistent with Phoebe the Realtor pup, no matter which LLM I'm using.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry. I will repeat the question next time. Okay. Any other questions, guys?
Any questions from inside the office? Yeah, I think we pretty much lost everybody.
Really?
Oh, yeah. They're all looking at their phone.
All right. We've got like 5 minutes left, so we can end 5 minutes early, and I can say to everybody, thank you so much for inviting me to come and teach you about AI. And I wish you, like all the best on your AI endeavors. And if you have any further questions, you can always reach out to me at Raylene at aggielandexpert.com. If you want to see examples of what I've done, you can go to my website, which is aggielandexpert.com. Okay, and then I guess if we have no other questions, this is like last call.
How long did it take y'all to work through the bugs and get this great presented to us and to
So the question was,
but it also sounds like something, if I can work through the steps, I
yeah.
can do it.
Yeah, you can totally do it. So Renee said, how long did it take you to work through the steps and be able to do it? And the answer is, Heather and I did not start using AI until Next Home started doing those the webinar, that just said, hey, AI is coming, right, which was in about September of 2025. So it wasn't that long ago. So it's only been September, October, November, December, and now we're almost in June. So 9 months. So at this point, I've only been doing AI for about 9 months. And it's just one of those things where you just kind of have to dive in. but in terms of each time I make the classes, right? I would say it takes me probably a little over half a day, but that's just because I don't know what I don't know what I want to talk about, and so I have to outline it and put it all together, and then I have to make the images and make the slides and make the handout, and so
We're not gonna, I'm
yeah.
not gonna lie. You're not gonna get into chat, do everything that Raylene said, get a project started, and all of a sudden you're gonna be Raylene. Like, that's not how this is gonna happen. Just know that those projects, we talked about it last week. Project instructions, working with AI, it's a constant development. You're gonna find glitches, and you're gonna be like, I can't even tell you right now. Scribbles and I had a conversation, and I was like, Scribbles, I swear to all that is holy at this moment, I need you to go back, and I need you to quit taking the dumb pill, because I've had as much as I can handle with you today. There are going to be glitches. It's computer, right? And computer is recognizing patterns, and it's trying to decide the best response for your personality, the best response, it's a yes man. So when you create these projects and you create these instructions, you're going to find corrections you want to make them. Know that once you dump everything into that project, that is not a be all end all. You're going to constantly develop it, but you are going to realize when you run into something, hey, chat, it's really example. Phoebe. I was doing something with Phoebe, and my chat all of a sudden thought Phoebe and I were bestest best friends ever. And so because my chat is snarky, every comment that it made tacked on a Phoebe, like, Phoebe would say. And I was like, chat, Phoebe and I have a love-hate relationship. Phoebe is not the center of my world. Yeah, but Phoebe's right, not a human. And I was like, so can we stop referencing and adding Phoebe to everything that I'm doing? That's Raylene and Avery. That is not you and I. And I was like, oh, my bad. And so then I made a comment about Virgo, because we were talking about different personalities between Raylene and I. Well, then every response had to do with Virgo. And I was like, okay, Scribbles, just because I mentioned something does not mean that we have to be married to it. It is, sometimes little jokes back and forth is a one-time thing. I will let you know if I want something baked in. We will talk about updating it. So chat's going to do things. It's going to be weird. You're going to need to update your project instructions. You're going to need to continue to create that what's weird relationship with your computer. Yeah, it is weird, but
well, and for each one of my projects, so let me just check this really fast, and then we'll go here. So for each one of the projects that I do, I have to test it. Okay, so I will then say, okay, we've created the project, we've created the custom instructions, fantastic. Now, GPT, tell me how to test it. How do I test the system? And then it'll say, okay, let's go. Type in this, and then we'll look at the results. And I can do that in the project, because just because I've created guardrails, if I'm talking to the large language model, and I am giving it a request that I'm giving it permission to go outside the guardrails to give me an answer, it's intuitive enough with GPT 5.5, which we just recently got, that it will step outside of the guardrails, even in the project, and help me finalize and put it all together. So it would say, okay, like for my instructions, and I want it to look this way. I'd say, okay, let's do a test. And it'd say, okay, test 1, this is what we need to do. Okay, all right. So then I put that in and I get the result. And then I'm saying, oh, look, this is what it did. And it said, yeah, that's not really what you wanted. We want perfection every time. Add this line to your custom instructions. Add this line to your, add this to your file. And so to put it together, I would say takes, I don't know, for me, maybe 10 renditions before I get it right, before when I test it right, it says pass, pass, pass every time. So you're not just going to put in the comments, get the output and go, yay, I did it, because you have to work, you think for your model, you work with your model. And so when it gives you the custom instructions, when it's not giving you exactly what you want, you tell it, and then it creates another rule or it creates a file so that you quickly solve the problem. But it's like whenever we're talking about anything else that we do with GPT, you refine. Refine means that, you know, after 20, 30 minutes of working with it, you're going to have pass, pass, pass. And now I don't have to worry about content anymore. I literally just take a recorded conversation, throw it in, and now I have content for days off of one conversation. Okay? Was there another question?
So, Renee, to answer your question, it takes Raylene a long time, or not as long as it would you being first at it. So I would say, let's not focus on what Raylene is creating. Let's focus on getting your chat to perform tasks that you want it to perform quickly and easily, which is create the projects and work within those projects. That would be, I would say, baby move number one. Then as you're familiar with that, you can expand.
Yeah, that's what we went from to master.
Correct. So correct. That was the flow.
Right.
Well, the point is everything's online so you can review it again. Yes, you can go back to day one. It's all uploaded. I had somebody who said, but Raylene, I only saw your first video online. I didn't see all of them. And the answer is I put them under a topic so that you're not having to shift through anything else that I post. Like, I'm sure you guys don't want to see Phoebe the Realtor pup videos everywhere, or, you know, cartoon tours of my neighborhoods, right? So you just click on the AI teaching part, and then when you click on that first one, that is the content, I guess, like folder. And so when you click on it, all of the lessons are going to be right underneath, and I'll have today's, you know, up by the end of the day today. Okay, guys, it is now 10:32, so we will call it. Thanks for having me. Hope to see you guys at convention in 2026. Know that if you need AI assistance or real estate assistance in the Bryan College Station, I'm here for you, and I appreciate you all so very much. You take care.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.